Torah Or, Miketz, Peish Mem Beis. Let's see. 11 lines in the end of the page. Okay, yesterday we were learning that the concept of a mashal brings out the point of the nimshal, but that you wouldn't be able to understand it without the mashal. So even though the mashal really has nothing to do with the nimshal, like we said, sunlight has nothing to do with revelation of godliness. Nevertheless, in order to understand that aspect of it, so we talk about that mashal. So he said, this is what it says in the pasuk, V'yad anavim Adam. Hashem says, in the hand of Nevi'im Adam like a dimion, there's similarity. Chazal imshilo imar nevuah, and Chazal liken the vision of a nevuah l'aspaklaya to a magnifying glass. Shekmei shemerem b'aspaklaya. Just like, or aspaklaya, there's two types. It could be a mirror, it could be a magnifying glass. Hagam shenir is the most atzor b'tmuz v'tzalma mamish. The hearing means about a mirror. So when you look in a mirror, in the mirror you see mamish, your image, but it's still not you. It's your image, but it's not you. It's not at all the person looking into the mirror. It's an image of it. The same thing anytime in Nevi'im say prophecy and understand Nevuah, it's only like an image of godliness. It's not godliness. It's a very low level, in fact. Just like in the concept of a mashal. That from the mashal, you understand the thing that you're trying to understand, the nimshal. It says, no person could see me. Simply the pasuk means, no person can see me and live. And the Medrash says, not only a person can't see me, but even v'chayis HaKodesh, the malachim also can't see me. This is what it says by Shlomo. He spoke 3,000 mishalim for every intellectual concept. I'll call Davar midivrei Torah Hainu Sha'am, and I'll call Davar midivrei Torah Ruchnius U'inyan. K'mei mitzvahs korbanos min habehema, like he took the spiritual aspect. He spoke about, let's say, korbanos. Umakrivim chel v'dam agabi mizbeach. And then when you bring an animal, so you bring the fat of the animal, you bring the blood of the animal on the mizbeach. B'koyin bigdei kuna v'haya omed inyan korbanos beruchnius. And Shlomo HaMelech, you would speak the inyan of korbanos in a spiritual way. And what the blood and fats of the animal are in spiritual things. So Shlomo HaMelech, in other words, all these aspects are really misholim for much deeper spiritual things. The Chassidus explained, the inyan of korbanos is not only a physical animal on the mizbeach, it's taking your animal soul within you and sacrificing it on the mizbeach. What?
And aren't there malachim on the HaKadosh Baruch Hu's court?
No.
They sing to him every day.
They sing, so. They sing. They're not. Most malachim, by the way, are even in the world of Yitzira. There's a few angels, the top guys, Gabriel, Michal, those guys. They're in the world of Bria. Malachim don't exist in Atzilus. V'hinei gavoya mal gavoya. Gama madreis ruchnius zu l'mayla mizu. There's many spiritual levels, one higher than the next. V'hisig shleime b'chochmasi. Meaning, what does it mean when the pasuk says Shlomo HaMelech gave 3,000 mishalim? Meaning, shleishes alafim madreges zu l'mayla mizu. Shlomo HaMelech, what do you mean? Spoke 3,000 mishalim. He understood 3,000 different levels, higher upon higher upon higher of everything. And he says, and even that is only a mashal legabi b'chinas elukus mamish. In other words, Shlomo HaMelech with his wisdom understood every aspect of Torah in 3,000 levels, one above the next in spirituality. But even though the highest level that he understood is still called a mashal, it's only in a parable, it's an analogy, it's only an image of godliness, it's not even godliness itself. HaMitzlabish b'Torah. V'nei Shlomo HaMelech lehisig alo shleishes alaf mashal. Shlomo HaMelech only understood 3,000 levels, but in reality there's infinite levels. Avo be'emes, kachu reima milas nen ketz. There's infinite milas of elokus. Shakula meinu rak b'chinas mashal kadmeinu shalelim are only a mashal in the image of godliness. Hainu erdin tabaruchu mamish shalamayim mayla migeder v'geder ishtaushus. Not in the level of mamala, not in the level of seviv, but Torah comes into the level of mamala and seviv through the levels of letters. So the Alter Rebbe is explaining over here that Torah, okay, that the level of Torah is Asius, but he says, what does it mean Torah is letters? Torah is the infinite wisdom of Hashem, which is above the 3,000 Misholim and even the highest of highest infinite levels of godliness, and they come down into a form of letters that Hashem allows us to understand it at a certain level, simultaneously with the reality that we don't begin to understand it.
It's not that our bodies refute, and then they refute what is.
No.
They go higher and higher and higher.
Yeah. But he says even the highest level, Shlomo HaMelech, 3,000 Misholim, is only 3,000, which is limited, by the way. There's an infinite amount. There's an interesting story about the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe was once walking somewhere, and he saw a guy learning something. And he was learning the Rishon, called the Rosh, Ben Rosh, in the back of the Gemara. So the Alter Rebbe went over to the guy and asked him, why does the Rosh learn this way? Why doesn't he learn a different way? The guy, of course, didn't know. So Alter Rebbe explained why the Rosh learned that way A, and not way B. Then the Alter Rebbe refuted what he said in way B, and he said way C. And then he said D and E, and he kept going back and forth, higher and higher, refuting the reason why he didn't say what he... Okay. At the end, I don't know how many times it was, but at the end, the Alter Rebbe told him why the Rosh learned the way he learned. That means all those maybes, he showed why the Rosh had to learn that particular way. Then the Alter Rebbe said, and this is the point, don't think that when the Rosh learned, he went through this whole 10, 20, 30 levels. Those people were so great, when they learned it, they saw the correct way right away. I mentioned this, we were in high school learning by Rabbi Chassidus in Mesivta. So we once, then the Rabbi was Rashi Sichas, the Rabbi was explaining, ripping apart the Rashi and all that. So we asked him, did Rashi Taka think that? The way the Rabbi ripped them apart. Did Rashi Taka think that when he wrote what he wrote? Or, So he told us, there's a story with the Rebbe Rashab, at the beginning, the first page of Samach Vav, the famous Hamshech, continuation Maimonim of Samach Vav. So on the first page, there's like 5, 6 questions. So as a chassid of the Rebbe Rashab came to the Rebbe Rashab, and the Rebbe Rashab said, what are you teaching Chassidus in your community? He said, I'm teaching Samach Vav. Teaching your Maimonim. So the Rebbe Rashab said to him, say something. So the Chassid told the Rebbe Rashab that he explained why the order of the questions on the first page is in the order the way they are. Why? So the Rebbe Rashab said to him, to tell you the truth, I didn't think that when I said the Maimer. When I asked the question, I didn't think of that order, why I'm asking the questions in order that I asked it. But because it becomes Torah, then it becomes an infinite thing. And then you can keep learning deeper and deeper. The other story we told, the Tzemach Tzedek once said a Maimer, a Chassidic discourse, and then there's an argument what the Tzemach Tzedek meant in the Maimer. The Tzemach Tzedek's children maintained one way, and the Rabbi Hillel Paritcher maintained a different way. And they were arguing what the Tzemach Tzedek meant in the Maimer. So the kid said to him, well, go ask our father. Who's their father? Whenever they wanted to, they went in. So they went to the Tzemach Tzedek, and they asked him, what did you mean in the Maimer? So Tzemach Tzedek said he meant the way his kid said, not like Rabbi Hillel Paritcher. So after the kid said to Rabbi Hillel Paritcher, no. So he said to them, I'm still right. I'm still right. So he said, how could you be right? He said it, he's telling you what he meant. How can you say he's right? So Rabbi Hillel Paritcher said to them, when a Rebbe says a Maimer, it's elokus coming down into seichel. And let's go off a second. When a chassid learns a Maimer, it's seichel, understanding godliness. When a Rebbe says a Maimer, it's godliness becoming seichel. It's a big, big difference. Okay? So he says, once the Rebbe says a Maimer, it becomes Torah, then it becomes Torah. The Tzemach Tzedek can learn his pshat, I can learn my pshat, and we can both be right. Because now it's Torah. Which explains another interesting thing. You know, it used to come out, Likut Sichos, now it didn't come out Likut Sichos. It used to be every week came out a Likut that the Rebbe edited that week. The Rebbe would come down to davening with the Likut in the Siddur, in a Siddur, and in the middle of davening many times the Rebbe would look at the Likut. His Sicha that he said, he edited at least twice. Okay, so obviously he knows what it says there. Why is he learning his own Sicha? Like, doesn't he know it yet? The answer is, could say maybe. Once it becomes Torah, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper.
So Aspaklaya is in the ayah.
Aspaklaya is, there's two definitions as Aspaklaya Me'ira and Aspaklaya She'ena Me'ira. There's a, if you be bar mitzvah and say the Maimer, you know. There's a Aspaklaya Me'ira, which means a fagresser glass, meaning a magnifying glass. And then there's another definition of Aspaklaya She'ena Me'ira, meaning it's a mirror. Now that's what he's saying here. When you see a mirror, all you're seeing is an image. You see the whole image, everything, every minute detail. But it's not the real thing, it's only an image. By the way, there's an interesting story. There was a very big tzaddik who had a disciple. He gave him a bracha, he became very, very rich. But before he became rich, he used to give a lot of tzedakah. He gave a lot of tzedakah. He was mamish, everything. He gave him a bracha to be rich, and as it goes, they became rich, he stopped giving so much tzedakah, and he stopped having guests, and he stopped having things. So he got back to his Rebbe, that your student, that you gave him a bracha to get rich, look what happened to him. So he said he had to fix it. So he went to his house, knocked on the door, the servants came, he said, no, tell him it's me. Oh, his Rebbe came, he called him in, invited him in, gave him tea, whatever. Then his Rebbe said, come here. Takes him to the window. And he says, what do you see in the window? He says, well, I see Yankel the tailor, I see this lady running, shopping, whatever, I see, you know. Then he took him over to a big mirror that he had in the house. And he said to him, what do you see now? He said, I see myself. Says, Rabbi said to him, I don't understand. This is glass and this is glass. Why through this glass you see other people and through this glass you only see yourself? He says, Rabbi, the backing, this glass is clear. The backing of this glass, the mirror, has a silver lining in the back. That's why you see yourself. So the Rebbe said to him, oh, so if we take away a little bit of the silver lining, and he goes to the mirror and starts scratching off a little bit of the silver lining in the back, maybe you'll be able to see other people too. He said, I got it, and he changed completely. He changed completely. There's aspaklaya me'ira, there's a magnifying glass, you could see it, and there's a mirror, you see yourself.
So my understanding is when somebody says a minor is a finite, the moment it becomes a Torah, it becomes an infinite.
No,
Is
it's,
that what you said?
when a Rebbe says a maimer, it's infinite godliness becoming seichel. That means he's revealing infinite in finite.
So even that at that level could be many levels.
Yeah. Yeah, but once it comes down and becomes Torah, so then the Torah is infinite. You can learn it a million different ways. You can learn it his way is his way.